Why? I guess if we're live on Facebook, we don't need to for this group since we don't post it up in our YouTube. Although I think that if we are able to figure out how to make some YouTube videos where you have to are password protected, maybe we can have our business ones up there for people too. So, hello everybody. We're doing our 30-minute weekly check-in, and I wanted to share. Chris, do you have with you the Yarrow Palm serum and the Yarrow Palm?
I can go get it. I know where it is. Yep.
Okay. All right, cool. So while Christine's getting the Yarrow Palm stuff, which I'm super excited to chat with you guys a little more about, especially those of you who weren't at convention and maybe haven't caught the live stream yet, I wanted to highlight what Dave Sterling shared at convention, and something that our team leaders have really been talking about and really kind of wrestling and working through, and that is this, as doTERRA every year, they're kind of refining and getting more and more clear on their mission in the world. Like at first it was just to create and find the best essential oils. And then they realized, okay, now that they've found the best essential oils, they realized that there was this opportunity for them to actually make a difference and change the model of how things were being sourced so that it would be better for the people who are working on the ground in all these remote places, actually doing the work of growing and harvesting and distilling these oils. And as they've continued to grow, and the market has just changed and morphed with more and more companies saying, we're just as good as doTERRA. We have the best oils just like doTERRA. Actually, they don't. But even if they did, they're not changing the marketplace the way doTERRA is. And what Dave Sterling shared was the new, what do you call it, like a motto or the like mantra almost for the company, which is pursuing what's pure. And what I love about that is that we've known, all of us who are in this company, that the oils and the purity of the oils have been integral to doTERRA being what it is, and that they are a private company and don't have a market, partners, that it's not a publicly traded company where they would have shareholders that could influence how they do their business and impact negatively the quality of the oils, or try to cut corners where they're not going to be able to as ethically and beautifully care for and support the communities that are growing these oils and that we're partnering with. So I loved that piece of it. And one thing, and I think I'll try to take a picture of it and put it up, from the the agenda from convention, Dave Sterling wrote this beautiful letter in there, and he ended with this whole idea of purity and pursuing the pure. Do you have what he said? Oh, can you read it? Can you read just like the end of it, I think?
Well, the end of it, it's all kind of, this is
it's so good.
Yeah, it's amazing. It just says, everything we do at doTERRA is designed to empower people. And best of all, we're not alone in our pursuit. So let's pursue together. Let's pursue healthier families, happier communities, kinder interactions, and stronger connections. Let's pursue understanding and common ground, humility, empathy, and charity. Let's pursue being the difference that makes all the difference. Let's pursue a smile on the face of everyone we meet and a positive impact everywhere we go.
I love that.
Yeah, that's what I thought about it, and I thought, yeah, okay, let's do that.
Yeah. And I realized, they start with the oils, and then they start with their business model, and then they're looking at how they're doing it. And on our end, we've been working to embrace that as well, with purity of our motives and with purity of our interactions. And I love that he chose to say pursuing what's pure, because none of us are 100% pure. We have our own selfish motives. Sometimes we have a really shitty day and we just act in a way that isn't, perfect. But we're pursuing the pure and good interactions with each other as business partners, as with our customers, with our upline and downline and sideline, with people on other teams than us. And I love that in pursuing what's pure, it's not always the easiest road. It's not always the least expensive or the quickest road, but it is absolutely the most awesome road. And I love that in all my interactions with my top people here that I've been able to spend time with, like Christine, Terry, and the ladies that we had on our Silver and Up retreat, we really all have this deep agreement that this is how we want to do business. This is how we want to do life and be with one another. And sometimes that means we have uncomfortable conversations. Sometimes that means we've been using a book by Brene Brown called Dare to Lead. And she talks about rumbling with vulnerability and just being willing to hear what other people have to say that they're not happy with us, or to say things that need to be said to just work through things with one another. And I love that we get to be in community with other people who have that same desire, that we're going to love each other, have charity towards one another. We're going to apologize when we need to. We're going to do the best we can, and we're going to continue to pursue purity. I want to kind of jump ahead. We're going to talk about our Yarrow Palm stuff, which would be super cool in just a moment. But I wanted to kind of tag onto that with something that I was talking to one of our builders who was saying, I'm not sure I really want to do this kind of, do what it takes to get to this rank. And I was like, well, what do you mean? Like, what does it take? What is your understanding of that? And she said, something to the effect of, like making the names list and looking at everybody as a potential sale. And I was like, oh, I get it. Because that doesn't feel good and pure and kind. And I said, we can do the same activity with a pure motive or with that impure motive. We can do it with the eye to self-serve of building our business and not really be thinking about the other person and what they need. We're like, how can I make this sale? Or we can be looking at the person that we're sitting across from or on the phone with or conversing with on Facebook and set in our hearts. And Christine, I'd love to have you share again how you do that when you get ready to go, or how you set your intention. And say to ourselves, okay, I'm here to listen. I'm here to discern to the best of my ability what they need and what I have to offer that can support that. Chris, do you want to add anything in that little piece of it?
I think you pretty much covered it. It's just something I think it's really important. And I know that it's definitely helped me in a lot of the success that I've found with sharing with others, to initially, before you enter into whatever conversation, just remind yourself of your goal, and your goal being to help them, and that making a sale or making a bigger sale is not always what's going to help them. And it's really kind of easy because I do this business mostly with people that I know and I already care about. And I'm really lucky to have a lot of people in my life that I feel that way about. And so it's really easy to do. But even strangers, we need to consider them friends and look at the potential relationship that we have with them that can add so much to our lives, and to really put them first. And people who are on my team who have a higher power, I think that this is a really good time for prayer, so that you can really set your intention clearly and really audibly, at least in your own brain, tell yourself, speak to God about what it is that you want to do, and that's to serve the other person and meet them where they're at, and that they might not be hearing you the way that you intend it, but just to be patient and understand that this is my intention and it will come through at some point.
Yeah. And that's a great thing to keep in mind as well, is that it's our job to check in on our own intentions and to make sure that's pure. And we don't get to decide how somebody else perceives that, because everybody comes, like I say, with their own set of glasses from their life experiences. And some are more cynical because they've had experiences that were difficult and they don't necessarily recognize the purity of our intention. And so for us, I think it's really important to remember that you don't have to convince everybody else of your pure motives. You just have to know for yourself that you have them. And I know sometimes when I've been pushing for a rank, or when I really need that last, like when I was in Diamond Club and I needed that last enrollment, that we can have an energy sometimes of need and feel like we need to push it. And I've noticed that when I've had that I need this kind of energy in me, it pushes the sales away. So, it's like checking back in and saying, okay, I know I have needs and I'm going to allow God and the universe to meet them however they see fit. And right now, my role is to look at the person and be open to any opportunity that I can serve. And I know that when my motives have been kind of, twofold, where it's like, I want to help them, but I really need this for me. By choosing to look around and look for somebody who has a need that I can fulfill, even if it's just to give somebody a compliment or write a card, and I shift my energy into that loving, caring, giving energy, then it opens the flow up again. It's crazy. It works. It may sound kind of woo-woo to people, but I dare you to try it. And going back to my friend who was feeling a little icky about the sales thing and the names list, we talked about how you can do a names list with the mind of, all right, I've got to see who I can sell to and who do I know. And that is that icky energy of what's in it for me. You can also, like Christine said, invite your higher power, the Holy Spirit, your source, to remind you of the people that you're connected to, and to ask that all those names be reminded to you, and put them down on a list, and then look at that list and say, who needs to hear from me right now? Who needs some love and some touch? And reach out and connect with them first, not to sell, not to see if they're interested, but just to see how they are. And if you start there, you'll go so much further. So that's my little spiel for, just this whole purity piece, which came up at convention and had come up before that in our team. And we're all really pursuing that purity. And just how that filters down into the simplest actions of how we interact with others, and even creating a list, which all it is really to help jog our memory of the people in our lives. And then we can take our pure heart and look at this list and invite promptings of our inner knowing to reach out and see, who do I care about that I haven't talked to in a long time? We wonder how they are, and build those connections. And oils just flow from that, because they're our love language, honestly. And, they come up and people ask how we're doing, what we're doing, and then we can share that, right? But starting first from seeking to understand and seeking to see how others are. All right, so let's turn to Yarrow Palm. All right, Chris, I just got my box from Gail, so I haven't even gotten my hands on and opened the serum yet. Have you started it? Have you started using it?
Yes, I have.
Do you want to tell us about the Yarrow Palm serum? And I'm going to pull up my notes on the other stuff.
Okay, I'll talk about the serum first. This is the beautiful bottle with the lovely pump. And yeah, it's amazing. It's an oil, so it does have a slightly greasy feel to it, but it's a light oil, so it does spread really nicely, really easily. Just a few pumps covers pretty large areas of skin, so it's pretty fun to just kind of spoil yourself and put it all over.
Nice.
And I noticed that my skin feels like it has had some sort of treatment on it, even hours later, but not sticky. It's really difficult to explain, but there's a feeling to it that's different in the areas that I've covered it with. I do know that it's not for use on the face generally. For most people, it's not going to be a problem, but for those who are prone to clogged pores, the heavier molecules in, I believe it's the grapeseed oil, can be a little bit more tricky for the face pores to absorb without causing any clogging. So it's not for the face, but it's for everywhere else on the body.
Nice.
And you get such a nice size. You know, this is a pretty good size bottle.
Yeah, what size is it? Oh, it's
I still have more than half of it left, and I've been using it.
Nice. Awesome. I can't wait to start using it. There's a practice in Ayurvedic medicine called Abhyanga, and it's where you take like a really rich oil, and it can be infused with essential oils. And in the morning, you like basically kind of like after dry brushing, you massage it all over. Starting like at the extremities, the feet, and up in the arms, all the way moving up to the heart. And then you go in and take your shower. And the oils, when your pores are opened up in the shower, get driven in, and then any of that greasiness kind of like just dissipates. But it really like moisturizes your skin, and it does feel different the whole rest of the day. So going into the winter season, I'm really excited about that. A couple things to share just from doTERRA's website about it is it does have the yarrow and the pomegranate, obviously, and then the combination of hydrating, nourishing oils, which is why it's not so much for the face, although mine could probably use it because it's so dry, is jojoba, sunflower, avocado, grapeseed, and argan kernel oils. So all of these hydration ones.
The lightest of all those.
What?
Grapeseed oil is the lightest oil.
Yeah, yes, it's really nourishing. And then the coffee seed extract helps to smooth the skin and helps with texture and rejuvenation of the cells. So that's kind of cool. And then it has Roman chamomile, yuzu, peppermint, and kananga in it. So I can't wait to try it. It says, apply a thin layer over the body twice a day and lightly massage until absorbed. So that's pretty cool. All right. So then we have the Cellular Beauty Complex. I am so excited about this. We were talking about
this stuff.
Yeah. So, all right. So I'm going to let you talk about it because you're like,
yeah.
And then we'll share a little of the science thing.
I love the serum, but this stuff, this is crazy because I started taking these, I think it's been about 6 days now. And at first I thought, well, it's going to be hard to tell because I'm using this wonderful stuff on my body. I'm using this wonderful stuff on my face. I'm using other wonderful products. And then I'm taking these. So how am I going to tell if these work? Well, let me tell you, you can tell that they work because your skin feels like someone else's skin. It's like all over. I'm so soft from the bottom of my feet to my ears. My ears are soft. Okay, so that was when I was certain that it was nothing else, but whatever's in here is going through my whole body and making my ears, the skin on my ears, feel like silky soft. It's like it just doesn't feel like I've ever felt before. So there's something really, really cool going on, and I'm terrified because I'm counting down and I need more because I don't want to stop taking 2 a day.
Right, because they're not going to have it available. I think it's set until January.
Well, I think I know more about that, and don't quote me, so I might not know anything, but what I think I know, I think that they're not available for individual sale. Like you wouldn't be able to buy just the supplement.
Right.
But I think you can buy the set.
Okay.
And I have also heard, I'm almost positive that there is a small travel size of the whole
right, for the holidays.
In the holidays. So we'll have some options for buying. They might not be the best options for saving every penny, but by buying in a group, you can usually get a good deal, and at least you're going to try all the products. So, you know, by hook or by crook, I'm going to get my hands on some of these before January when they go on sale for individual purchase.
Well, and at the post-convention tours, we can purchase convention kits.
I will be doing that. I
Yeah.
guarantee I will
Because
be
then we
getting
get
at
it
least
all
one.
discounted and you get more of the cellular
Yeah,
beauty
and the
complex.
discount is crazy. It's
I know.
wonderful. I don't know what the price will be then, but I know that when we were at convention,
I
it was
think they're
like
going to keep it pretty
$170 off. So
reasonable.
yeah, definitely pick one up if you get a chance to go to the tour.
Yeah, so just a few things about the Yarrow Beauty Complex. When I was, oh, darn it, I think I had closed it up. Okay, so lots of antioxidant benefits in it, which really just, like you said, helps helps our cells be more resilient. I remember taking Laura Jacobs' health coaching course, and she's like, there are two problems that our bodies have: too much and not enough, right? Those are the two things. And when we think of our cells, especially when they're aging, they get less flexible. They have less of the collagen and the things that give it their structure. They have less of the healthy lipids. And they also, especially if we run dehydrated and we're not hydrating, they can have a much more difficult time taking in nutrients and passing out the toxins and the radicals, the free radicals that cell functions create. It's like a natural thing, and it just has a harder time flowing and functioning. And so the things that we're putting into our body in this cellular beauty complex are beautifying because they are giving our cells healthy nourishment so that they can function better. So let's see. Okay, the combination oils that are in it are yarrow, celery seed, which is great for that detoxing, frankincense, palmarosa, turmeric, again, super high antioxidant, and melissa, as well as the pomegranate oil, grapeseed oil, and then zinc. Zinc is something that many people are also deficient in, and it actually is supportive for our immune system. So this cellular beauty product also can support our immune function. It supports wound healing, and it says over 17% of the global population are deficient in zinc, and there's no internal zinc storage system. So just like B vitamins, we have to keep putting it in, and our diet is becoming less and less zinc rich. So we get to have this extra zinc support, which is wonderful. It's found in every cell. It helps with wound healing, helps with antioxidants, and just helps with our cellular repair functions. So that's really cool. And then melon extract, I don't know a thing about that, except it says there's a lot of antioxidants in it for radiant skin. So that's kind of super fun. Yeah, so it's really neat that they've added that combination. Anything else you want to share about that before we?
I just see that they have vitamin C also in there.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know if you mentioned Melissa.
Oh, yeah, I did mention Melissa, but I didn't really say why or what.
Yeah, there's Melissa in there too.
Yeah. Really interesting thing I learned about Melissa from my friend Kim Lango, who is an amazing pediatric research nurse and who also was dealing with Epstein-Barr. She did a lot of research on it, and she has access to all the PubMed, medical things that we don't have access to. And she found that with the Epstein-Barr virus, which can do a lot of damage in the body, one thing an Epstein-Barr virus does is it actually creates, when it infects a cell, it makes the cell immortal. And when a cell's immortal, it doesn't die. And when a cell doesn't die, it can start to mutate as it's changing. And that's where we start to run into more and more mutagenic type problems. And in her research, the only thing she was able to find that stopped the Epstein-Barr virus from infecting a cell or from making a cell immortal was Melissa. Pretty cool research stuff going on there. So it's a useful oil and great for mood support as well. So that's kind of just a little bit of extra stuff in our yummy skin care regimen. And at 48 and a half, I'm really excited about having more support for my skin to be beautiful. And that's a great thing for us to be able to share with our customers, especially going into the winter season. I love that you reminded us, Chris, that the holiday line, there's going to be so many cool holiday things. Oh my gosh. Okay. So the last thing I want to do in our last few minutes is just do a few shout outs and also kind of wrap ups from convention. Chris, you got to convention early. I got there a little later because of my daughter's school. And you went to Desiree's class, was it?
I did go to Desiree's class. Yes.
And then you go ahead.
Unfortunately, that night my cat was still missing. And so
she
I
was a little distracted.
Significant parts of her class because I was extremely distracted on Facebook trying to help my neighbors figure out where she was. So unfortunately, I wasn't 100% there, but I did get some great notes. And basically, if you ever get the chance, any of you, to go to Desiree's classes, she is a Chinese medicine practitioner. And so her knowledge of the energy of the plants and how those are represented in the oils is just like no other presenter. And really, it was great. I don't know if it was my favorite presentation of hers because the acoustics in the room were not good at all. It was a really full room and the sound system wasn't cooperating very well. And she and her husband had a lot of interactions that took a lot of time that were really cute and adorable because you could just see how in love they were and how wonderfully they work together. But as far as getting a lot of meat and bones, there wasn't as much of that as I've had in other presentations where she did them alone. I'm not sure exactly why they did it that way. It's just something that I noticed. But I did get some great notes. And I don't know exactly how to share those quickly.
That's okay. That's okay. I really just
my advice is go when you get the chance. She's wonderful. Her books are also wonderful.
Yes, I love her books. She has a couple of really good books out. One is called I Am Worthy. And that's 4 weeks of protocols where you're literally working through bringing up memories and things of shame and clearing them out and clearing out any kind of feelings of judgment that you have from other people, from external sources as well, and just kind of uncovering your own worthiness so that you can be free and you can shine and you can give that to others as well. Because when we're full of shame and we're full of judgments and feeling that, then that's what we give to others too, right? So it's a really beautiful book. I Am Fabulous is a really fun one with lots of recipes that I actually often will give as gifts, especially she has a Tend the Heart blend. And when people are really going through difficult things, I like to send that one to them. And you do learn a lot about the oils and why she puts them in her blends. So it's a great way to start exploring that more emotional, physical side of the oils with her. Speaking of oils and blends and things like that, Debbie Carson shared, and I know there were a few other people on our team who went to the Symphony of the Cells by Boyd Truman. And that is a protocol that in some ways is similar to Aroma Touch. If you're familiar with how we apply the oils, Dr. Hill had created the Aroma Touch where we put the 8 oils on the back and on the feet. And they're picked very carefully to work together synergistically to help a body come back into homeostasis and balance. And what I like as well, having Aroma Touch training and the Symphony of the Cells, is Symphony of the Cells, which if you see it on Facebook anywhere or people are talking about protocols for different things to help people, it's capital SOC, like FCO is fractionated coconut oil, SOC is Symphony of the Cells. So then you'll know what people are talking about when they're like, you need to do the neuro SOC. And so he has a different protocol for different body systems. And he even lists at the top of it what different types of health concerns this protocol targets support for. So again, we're not curing a disease with the oils. What we're doing is supporting a body that is struggling in some way, and it's manifesting as a disease or a problem or a chronic ache or pain or issue. And we're giving the body support in a very specific targeted way so that it can work through what it needs to work through. I've seen some really amazing testimonials about using the Symphony of the Cells, especially the Maxim protocol. I'm thinking Maxim because it's like maximum coverage. And it also seems to be a lot with the internal organs. And using that once or twice a week when, or 2 or 3 times a week when someone's in a really difficult situation. And then, you know, as a maintenance once or twice a month for someone. So when you're learning to use oils, and especially here on our Biz Call, if you want to just up level your ability to care for other people and care for your customers and your family, if you get the book Symphony of the Cells, which I believe you can get at Aroma Tools, maybe Oil Life as well, they have now, they used to not have a lot of notes in it, just space for you to take notes at his class. But now they have a lot of notes explaining what to do with each step and how it works together and how to do that with pictures and everything. It's a really good little book. And you can pick a protocol and just go through it and give it to somebody. And the movement, there's not the same kind of particular patterns of movement as with the Aroma Touch. It's really about getting the oils on the spine and back, getting it on the feet, having them smell it, and then layering the next oil. And there's something just really unique and special about layering oils versus putting it all in a bottle and just putting it on at once. That gives the body a different type of experience and allows it to access it differently. Christine, do you want to speak to that at all?
No, I think that you explained that beautifully. I've had both trainings, and certainly I think that Aroma Touch technique and Symphony of the Cells are completely different, but wonderful tools for serving others, and, you know, different situations, different people, different ways of helping out.
Yeah, I love it. And with the Symphony of the Cells, because it's just putting the oils on the back and there's not the particular movements and other pieces to it, it's also something that you can easily teach your customers how to do for their family and for one another. And I think that that's just a beautiful way to really help people have profound support and shifts. I'm going to just share one quick example that was shared in the Diamond group of someone struggling with a very particular type of cancer, and they did Symphony of the Cells, the Maxim protocol, along with a few other things. I think it was 2 or 3 times a week, and then just put those oils on, and it made such a profound difference that it was just remarkable. And a few other people with that same issue have done the same thing and are finding similar results. So it's really, it can be a really powerful benefit. And if you get to know the protocols and you start like poking around the internet and finding people's testimonials and pictures and research of what's worked for others, you can have things that you can offer people. The one person who had that experience with her dad, she had a client who was facing that same issue and said, these oils, and usually there's about 8 or 9 in the Symphony of the Cells protocol, and each one's different. She said, these are the oils you need for this protocol, and I really recommend it because it helped, you know, these other people. And they didn't bat an eye. They just bought them all because they needed them. And so just to be aware that it's another way of helping people wrap their brain around specific ways to support the body instead of having all these random oils and not know what to do with them. So use the tools we have and teach people how to do these things as well. And, you know, go on YouTube and learn from other people. Okay, so I think that's mostly what I wanted to share. Anything else? I do want to touch on the post-convention tour because I think that's super important for all of our community. Do you want to talk about that since I've talked a lot?
Sure. I can speak at least for the one in Bellevue. I know that that is November 2nd. So check online for the full schedule because there are events all over the country. There's even one in Puerto Rico this year. So that's kind of cool and new. They are having less geographic locations, but they're doing them much bigger where they will be. So I think it's going to be worth it to travel a little bit farther. And I think that the experience for the people who go is going to be far better. It is 4 hours. Our Bellevue hours are 9 a.m. until 1 p.m. And there will be a full product showcase. And there will be leaders at the showcase giving advice, tips, and information about all of the new products. I don't know all the details on exactly what will be at the showcase beyond new products, but I know that it's going to be a really great experience because doTERRA is putting a lot into making this an experience that makes it worth the $15 fee that you pay to go. But for that $15, you get a 10 milliliter roller of a never before available and probably not available again, at least at this time not, roller blend called Together. At least I'm 90% positive. Please forgive me if I'm wrong, but the Together blend is magnolia and yuzu, and it was given out at the gala dinner at convention, and it just smells amazing. I didn't go to gala, so I didn't get one, but I smelled one, and I thought, hey, I should have gone to that.
Just to get
worth
the
it. Even just to have the roller and leave, you know, plus all the fun. So anyway, I'm really hoping that I'm right and that it is the Together blend, but you'll get one of those and you can get a friend in for free. The friend has to not have an account though. So spouses don't work. Anybody who has a membership already needs to pay the $15. But if you can find a friend who does not have a membership and they have to be over 18, then they get in for free and they get one of the roller blends as well. So it's a really good opportunity to reach out to your friends and say, hey, this is free and you'll get something for it. And I think you'll have a good time. I'm going, let's go together. And the whole theme of this year is together. And that's why they're offering it this way. So it's done completely differently. I think it's going to be so worth going and you're not going to want to miss it. So if there's one anywhere near you, please check it out.
Yeah, and especially if you and your team didn't get to make it to convention. I know Dominique just hopped on our call. Good morning, Dominique. And she and Nicola came to convention all the way from South Africa. So, you know, people travel far and they travel, like both of them are planning on coming back next year. I know Nicola and I were at the airport heading out at the same time and she's like, yep, coming next year and I'm bringing my family. And there are many of our team who weren't able to come for one reason or another. And if you weren't able to come to convention, get to a post-convention tour. I talked with one of my team members who is about 3 hours from the closest one. And my recommendation is pretend it's a mini convention, because it is, and get an Airbnb, go with your besties and go with your friends who are interested and curious about oils, but don't know enough about them yet. One thing we talked about, and Nicola had mentioned, was that when you come to convention, you're like, oh my gosh, you know, people have told me how amazing this company is. People have told me about the lengths they go for purity and for the science and everything else. But until I was there, until I saw and heard and smelled and was just with that whole environment, I didn't understand. And now I trust it so much more and I'm able to speak to it with so much more confidence to those I'm sharing with. So if you are a sharer or you're wanting to build a doTERRA business, find the nearest post-convention tour and make it a party weekend for you and your friends. I'm telling you, you are going to be so glad you did. Chris, did you want to add to that?
Yeah, I did. I forgot to mention that I think it's an important thing to mention to your friends that there is absolutely no purchase required on their part, that they can go, enjoy the day, get their roller, and there is no obligation whatsoever. But if they do decide that they want to sign up as a new wholesale customer, they will have a special promotion that they've never offered before. And in the past, they've offered wonderful promos like 100 free loyalty points if you place an order and then place another one a month later, and other just really great opportunities. So I don't know what they have up their sleeves, but it's going to be really good. And they will have the convention kits not just available for sale, but available to take home that day. Yeah, so you'll be able to get all the new products at a ridiculous discount. They'll be able to get their membership at some sort of great promotion, and all of the learning and everything is just completely open and free. And if they choose to not buy, or if they want to think about it longer, that's perfectly fine. There's no obligation. So I think that those are really important things to mention when you're inviting friends and letting them use your free ticket.
Absolutely. And I do know that in the product showcase, there are going to be different stations, just like there are at convention. And there are going to be stations with like the On Guard line, and at least this is my understanding, and the digestive line, so that people can see more of what doTERRA has, and they're going to be able to move around and go check things out, and then have like the presentation part kind of, I think, sandwiched in the middle of it. So some pretty cool stuff. And Dominique, if you're there, we'd love to hear from you and have a shout out from South Africa about what awesomeness you guys are cooking up down there. I know you're continuing to enroll like crazy people.
Morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
It's just, you have to excuse me. It's only 5:30 here in South Africa, but that's my usual get up and work on my doTERRA business. So I'm here. It's actually a holiday here. It's Heritage Day in South Africa. So nobody will be going. I'd love to just give you a little bit of feedback on what I've done post-convention, just because I'll be honest with you. If we could get on a party bus and go to a post-convention tour, I have a bus full.
I know.
And the reason I have a bus full comes twofold. One is that having Nicola feedback as a brand new person who went to convention, invaluable. She, she said, whenever you lead or speak, you speak with such integrity and foundation about this company. And I didn't know where it came from. And now I do. She's like, it makes such a difference. So just piggybacking on what you guys have said regarding getting to a post-convention tour, invaluable. Like, changes the way your energy comes out in teaching. Because you see, neither of us teach more about healing hands or teach more about co-impact sourcing, but the integrity of how you talk about the power that comes out the bottle gets filled up when you know the integrity of how the oil gets into the bottle. And that comes out in your energy. It doesn't mean you have to change the way you talk. It doesn't mean you have to add a whole piece on healing hands or co-impact sourcing, but you are so confident in what you are talking about. And she always said, didn't know where your confidence came from. I thought that's just who you are. You're a very good salesperson, maybe. And she's like, because everything you talk about, I believed and I wanted. However, she can't stop the people wanting to be part of doTERRA coming at her, because she now has that foundation.
Yes.
She's like, it all makes sense. Okay, so that's the first one. Go to a tour. The second point, the reason my whole team are literally figuring out how they're going to get to convention already is because one of my heroes, Ange Peters, guys, she did the most amazing post-convention 1.5 hour. She calls it Ange Whole Fit Classroom. If you need post-convention, so now your people have got their kits and they're bringing them home. Oh my gosh, this 1.5 hour video takes you through each product, takes you through like snippets, but so scientific, so amazing snippets, then where to keep it in your house and how to incorporate it into your daily life.
Oh, I love
with
it.
handouts, with like how you're going to incorporate. And she's literally taken you through that little convention pack that you're going to spend money on. And, you know, I've got the convention pack 3 years in a row. I've been to 2 conventions. So the first year I got bought for me as a like from Terry at convention. And the interesting thing is, because they're such new product, you bring them home and you kind of just look in the box and you're like, okay, I'll wait till I figure out how this can fit into my life.
Right.
When I say I have got 6 members on my team with convention packs here in South Africa, they are all using those products on a daily basis in every aspect of their life based on watching that video. It is the most practical, articulated. And what she does is, in the beginning of the video, she actually gives a little bit of talks about the oncology center. She does a little bit of that foundation. So I don't want to advertise it for people to not go to the post-convention tour,
right,
but in a practical way to use those oils that you've spent money on. But these oils, this company just doesn't stop like reaching for more and doing more. And yeah, I'm so excited. So every single one of my team is sitting here in South Africa with their fingers crossed until the 1st of October, because they've been very clear that they're not sure yet whether they're going to let it be available online. So there's no communication on the Silvers and Above group. It's like, do not communicate to your team that it's going to be available online, because we do not know. So my team are all sitting here, literally, after they watch that video from Ange, every single person goes, any chance of a post-convention tour in South Africa? I know they're opening. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, no, guys. There's one thing I can assure you, but will it be available to buy online? Sure. After tapping into all the magic that DoTERRA has just released, my team I'm like, so, and then obviously I sent that video to my customers too. It's an amazing video for your customers. Amazing. Because it kind of reignites that, oh, this company's doing amazing things. And you know what's really interesting? My last point, because I know I've now chatted forever. When you hear about the magic that goes into the new oils, it reignites your understanding for the magic that's in every other oil that you have in your home. It kind of excites you to go back and look, okay, so if there's all these constituents in lemon eucalyptus, what have I forgotten about all the other uses for the oils that I already have? Because this company doesn't just put a pretty smell in a bottle. You know, there's a reason, there's a purpose, there's a magic to every single bottle. And so, yeah, that's my 2 cents on, so that's Ange Peters' classroom.
Okay.
I think it's a new thing she's doing, where she's adding to this classroom. There's principles, there's handouts, there's little things to take notes while you're listening to the call. It's amazing. Yeah, it's really good.
Is there a link that you can drop into our Biz group?
Sure, I'll drop the link.
Okay.
Definitely.
Thank you.
And a really easy link.
Yeah, and then just put it in the comments for this video. Our Facebook Live, and then we can grab it and send it out. Thank you for bringing our attention to that. I love what Ange Peters puts out. She does such a great job. Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you. You guys are doing amazing things in South Africa, and Chris and I are putting our heads together tomorrow. We're going to be doing some more magic here in our local area. And I'm just excited to hear more and more about what everyone's doing. So please post in the comments below what post-convention tour you're going to. Start making a list of the people you can invite. If you're in the San Francisco Bay Area, your post-convention tour is next weekend. So you got to get on it. And it's in San Jose because it's the first one. So you definitely want to be there. Yeah, so love you guys. Have a fabulous week, and tune in next week. Take this video, tag your people in it. I'm going to also put this one up in our YouTube channel, so you can share it out to anybody that needs to hear from our team and from Dominique and from the things Chris shared about the Yarrow Palm Serum and what we talked about at the beginning about the purity of the company, the purity of the oils, the business, and our hearts. So Love you guys. It's great to see you. Have a fabulous day, holiday, Dominique. And Chris, have a good night's sleep eventually. And I will see you guys next time.